You got.
Well, we have some breaking news from Sean Sharania that is very interesting, which is the Milwaukee Bucks have signed Myles Turner, which is a true stunner of a move on a variety of levels. One, because Myles Turner goes from the defending Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers to the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks, quartered by their own catastrophic gamble and terrified of the future, have just made some of the most desperate moves in NBA history. In a full-blown panic to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo, after the failure of the Damian Lillard experiment, they have jettisoned the future Hall of Famer just to sign center Myles Turner. This wasn't a calculated risk or a 4D chess move to keep a championship window open. It is a blunder of epic proportions. A move so badly conceived, it won't just slam their title window shut, but it will almost certainly trigger the one thing the front office has nightmares about: the beginning of the end for Giannis in Milwaukee. Analyzing this What Lead Us Here reveals the dangerous pressures facing this franchise. The move is being sold as a bold pivot, but peeling back the layers shows a team mortgaging its future on a broken idea, creating a financial mess and a roster that just doesn't work. This decision won't be remembered for its audacity. It will be remembered as the mistake that pushed Giannis out the door. Let's break down how this single, catastrophic decision ensures Giannis is gone. First, you have to understand the pressure cooker Milwaukee was in to see how this disaster came to be. The Damian Lillard experiment, once hyped as the final piece of a dynasty, was a failure. The fit on the court was clunky, and the monster duo they dreamed of never truly materialized, creating turbulence throughout the season. That pressure finally boiled over when Lillard suffered a major injury in the playoffs, a torn Achilles, sidelining him for a huge chunk of the upcoming season. The front office, led by John Horst, was looking at an expensive, aging roster suddenly missing its second-best player. That pressure was cranked up to 11 by the quiet discontent of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has been crystal clear that his only goal is to win championships. The fear of losing Giannis has driven every big decision in Milwaukee for the last 5 years. So they panicked. An opportunity popped up. The Indiana Pacers, after a great season that saw them reach the NBA Finals, suddenly faced a crisis and couldn't agree to a max contract with Myles Turner. Milwaukee saw their chance. They swooped in and offered Turner a massive deal, 4 years for $107 million. To do that, they needed to clear cap space, and the only way to do it was the unthinkable: waiving and stretching the remaining $113 million on Damian Lillard's contract. A move that has sent a tidal wave through the league and created a financial anchor of historic weight. On the surface, you can almost understand the logic. Trade an injured star's contract for a healthy, productive one. But the tool they used, the waive and stretch provision, is a deal with the devil. In simple terms, instead of paying off Lillard's huge contract over the next 2 years, the Bucks are now stuck paying him for the next 5. This creates a dead cap hit of around $22.5 million every single season until 2030. That's not just a number on a spreadsheet, it's a permanent handicap on building a team. For half a decade, the Bucks will have the salary of a very good player on their books who contributes absolutely nothing. That $22.5 million is the difference between signing a legitimate sixth man or dumpster diving for minimum deals. It's the difference between having the flexibility to make a trade at the deadline or being forced to stand pat with a roster you know is flawed. There's a reason this is the largest wave and stretch in NBA history. It's a move of last resort, something rebuilding teams use when they're tearing it all down, not what a team trying to win a title does. By making this move, the Bucks have locked themselves into their core with almost no way to improve it. They have sacrificed their financial freedom for years, all for a player who, as we're about to see, doesn't even solve their biggest problems. This is where the on-court logic of this move completely falls apart. The front office is trying to sell it as swapping an aging Brook Lopez for a younger, more athletic Myles Turner. And in a bubble, a Giannis and Turner frontcourt sounds defensively dominant. Turner is an elite shot blocker who can hit a three, a combination that seems to complement Giannis perfectly. But games aren't played in a bubble. Today's NBA is a guards league. It's all about elite guards who can run the pick and roll, create their own shot, and hit clutch buckets. With this move, the Bucks willingly gave up their only player who can do that at a superstar level. Lillard, despite the failed experiment, was brought to Milwaukee for one reason: to be the guy who could take over and kill a team in the last 2 minutes of a playoff game when the defense is loading up on Giannis. Who does that now? The projected starting backcourt is now a mess of reclamation projects and unproven talent. Are we really talking about a point guard rotation led by guys like Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins with Gary Trent Jr. at the 2? With all due respect, that is not a backcourt that scares anyone. It's a lineup that will have a hell of a time creating easy looks for anyone. The Bucks have created a team that is completely unbalanced. They've gone all in on a defensive identity with Giannis, but they have ripped out the engine of their offense. In a league where you have to compete with the backcourts in Boston, Denver, and Dallas, the Bucks are now showing up to a gunfight with a butter knife. Their offense will now become a predictable grind, forcing Giannis to create everything, every single possession. That's not a path to a deep playoff run. It's a path to a second-round exit and a frustrated superstar. Perhaps the worst part of this entire fiasco is how badly it misreads the main character in this story, Giannis. The whole move was supposedly to keep him happy, to prove they're committed to winning. But why on earth would he be happy with this? His overall displeasure is palpable, and according to reports, he is not happy. This move doesn't make his job easier, it makes it infinitely harder. Giannis doesn't need another defensive big next to him. He is the entire defensive system. What he needs is what Lillard was supposed to be, a true co-star who can carry the offense, a guy who demands a double team and gives him space to operate. Instead, the message this move sends is, we're taking away your most skilled offensive teammate and giving you a guy who is a lesser version of what Brook Lopez already does. Now go carry one of the league's weakest guard rotations to a championship. It shows a complete misunderstanding of what it takes to win at the highest level. More than that, it reeks of desperation. Superstars don't lose faith just because they lose in the playoffs. They lose faith when the front office starts flailing, making panic moves with no clear plan. Waiving a player like Damian Lillard is a move born of pure fear, the fear of Giannis leaving. But in their desperate attempt to prevent that, they have just guaranteed it. They have shown him their plan is to just make it up as they go, all while mortgaging the team's future on a gamble that makes them worse. So let's assess the damage. Because the Bucks went down this road, they now have an unbalanced roster with a massive hole at the most important position in the sport. They are in financial hell for 5 years, paying a fortune to a player not on the team, and worst of all, they have completely broken trust with their superstar, fueling his displeasure. Signing a player like Myles Turner isn't the problem. The problem is the cost. The cost wasn't just Damian Lillard. It was their offensive firepower, their financial flexibility, and their credibility with Giannis Antetokounmpo. This wasn't a strategic pivot, it was a surrender. A surrender to the idea that they could build a truly dynamic contender. This stunning move illustrates the tightrope the Bucks were walking and is a reminder of what happens when you fall. This one desperate, fear-driven decision has started the clock on Giannis's eventual departure. You don't keep a superstar by being smart and building a team for the modern game. The Bucks failed to remember that, and now find themselves in a nightmare of their own making. Do you think this move guarantees Giannis is gone? Or can the Bucks still fix this mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious what you think. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More NBA chaos is on the way.